right, we're recording. So, if you were going to try to guess what the essays would be, what would you guess that the essays? Which questions would you guess would be the essays? Yes.
The councils.
The councils. Why do you guess that?
Because you said that they're always going to be on there.
You're so smart.
Yes. Number 10.
Number 8. Be able to describe the major aspects of the councils of Ephesus, Chalcedon, Second Nicaea. What was the main issue or crisis? What was the outcome? I can tell you, last time I let you choose, I said, tell me either about Nicaea or Jerusalem. I can tell you this time I will not let you choose. Your test will say one of these 3 names, and you'll have to tell me about it, okay? And it might be different on Form A than it is on Form B. Okay, so you got to study for all 3. There will be multiple choice questions about all 3, but there will be one of them that you will have to go into more detail on and write me an essay about. Okay, yes. Yes, and in the textbook. And online at reputable sources. So that's one of your short essays. What else do you think will be one of your essays? Michael, what do you think? 10. Evaluate the motivation for and implementation of the Crusades. What makes you think that that's an essay?
Is it?
There is a huge space. Also, there's some key words in there. There's also some there's some key words there. The word evaluate. The word evaluate. Coley, I think you need to move back up here, buddy.
No, I was asking to read a question.
Okay. Okay. Well, there's been a lot of chatter from that area of the room. Okay. So evaluate, that's not the sort of thing you can do in a multiple choice question. To evaluate, you need to write an essay. So that's a good hint, okay? I will tell you, you will have a choice about whether you will answer this essay or not, okay? You will not necessarily have to, but if this is the Crusades is something you really like and you really want to make a case for or against, you can study for that and you'll have an opportunity to do it. Yes? Number 8 you will have to answer. Any other questions? Yes?
For number 11, it says to be able to know one of these things, we need to pick which saint, like on the test.
Remember last time?
Yeah. But
yes.
I changed it.
Same thing. This is the other short essay, okay? So there will be multiple choice and matching about all the saints, but you should pick one of them to know about in detail. Okay? So you'll have a short essay on one of the councils, which you won't get to choose. You'll have another short essay about the saints, which you will get to choose, although you have to know about all of them. Okay? And then the long essay, I said you will have a choice about this. What do you think the other choice will be? The other option will be? Number 9. This is the one I'm expecting most people to do. Again, notice that word evaluate. Okay? When you have to take an opinion, that's going to be an essay. Okay? Hint not just for this class, but for all classes.
What is the test?
Tomorrow.
Come on.
Can somebody read this, please?
I got you.
Thank you, Colby.
Evaluate the following statement. The late Middle Ages were a golden age of Christianity. To what extent does this description fit? Be sure to mention both positive and negative aspects of this period of time. Finally, reflect on how this time period has positively and negatively impacted Christianity. All
right, very good. So there's some very there's lots to work with here. I'm expecting most people probably to do this one rather than the Crusades one. The Crusades one, you're going to have to. We went into detail about what the Crusades were. We didn't list a lot of things supporting or negating them, so you're going to have to do some research on your own if you want to answer number 10. Okay, but number 9 is probably what most people will do. Let's talk about number 9. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get there. Let's do the essays first, and then we'll get to the terms. Okay? So first of all, the first thing to do when you're tackling a essay is you got to identify what is the question asking. So let's break it down. Evaluate the following statement. So what are you going to need? It's asking you for your opinion, so you're going to need what's the core of a persuasive essay? A thesis, okay? So you're going to need your thesis. Okay? Which will be either yes, it was a golden age of Christianity. No, it was not a golden age of Christianity. So for or against or some variation thereof. You could be like, well, mostly yes, but a little bit no. Or mostly no, but it did have its good points. The only thing I don't want you to do is just come straight down the middle and say, Well, it kind of was and it kind of wasn't. If you're just totally 50-50, that's a boring essay. Okay, so make it at least one side or the other. Okay, yeah.
If I'm totally against it, can I include Martin Luther or no?
Well, that's kind of after this,
Alright.
so don't go there yet. Okay, that'll be next unit. You'll get to write all about Martin Luther. Okay, so break down. What else does it ask you to do?
List positive.
Very good. So we have to put positive things and negative things. Okay, and then finally, reflect on what?
How time period has impacted modern Christianity.
Okay, so impact on modern Christianity. Now, and then you should probably restate your conclusion at the end. Okay, so, or I'm sorry, restate your thesis at the end. This doesn't need to be super organized, 5-paragraph essay, Miss McCallan style, where you count your sentences and all that sort of thing, but it should have some sort of structure. Okay? Did she have you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. All right. Now, you could organize this a couple different ways. You could do the positive, then the negative, then the impact of both of them on modern Christianity. That might not be the most economical way to do it because you might end up repeating yourself again. I mean, I don't care.
So
You
I
can
can't
do it
just
that way.
negative?
So you need, notice what the question says. Be sure to mention both the positive and the negative. Okay? You can refute the positive and say, I think it all sucked, but you need to at least show that you're aware that there was a positive. Okay? So what I would probably do is, as I'm talking about the positives, mention the impact on modern Christianity, and same with negatives. While I'm mentioning the negatives, mention the impact on modern Christianity. That'll probably be a more economical, meaning a shorter essay. And last time some people ran out of time, so I think that might be the way to go. Okay? So I won't tell. Well, let's not come up with a thesis because that's up to you. But let's list some of the positives of this time period. Goose, go ahead.
The church was widely accepted.
Yeah, church was widely accepted. Almost everyone was Christian at this time and in this area of the world. Yep.
It was the height of church power.
Yes, it's the height of church power, political and otherwise. Political, cultural. That is not how you spell cultural. There we go. All right, what else? Coley.
There was new architecture.
Yeah, there was great architecture. Gothic and Romanesque. What else? Yep.
Really good theologian.
Yes. Who is the greatest of them? Thomas Aquinas. He's the man. Okay? And that has had a huge impact on modern Christianity because he has defined many doctrines. Almost everyone that comes after him is responding to him or building on what he's done. What else, Michael? Lots of spiritual devotions. Like what, Michael? The Rosary. Do we still use that today? Do we still use the Rosary? Yeah, so that's an impact on modern Christianity. What else? Yeah?
I was going to include something else.
In the devotions? Or something entirely? All right, let's just finish the devotions, then we'll move on. What's up? Yeah, the devotion to relics, which not as popular as it was back then, but we still got it. Stuff like Eucharistic adoration, which we do on our retreats here. Novenas, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so that's certainly influential on modern day. Yeah.
They were able to effectively combat the heresies then.
That's yeah. They're. What are you thinking of? Any in particular?
I mean, like, all of them in general, because, like, I mean, if there's a religion that can combat anything that someone says, then, like, if I was looking at that religion, I'd be like, well, they can support their stuff.
Mhm.
They obviously know what's up.
That's true. I'll throw that in with great theologians. Is some they were able to combat heresy. If you're going to say that, you might want to mention which heresies. And in this section of history, we didn't really study heresies specifically. Those are more from the earlier Middle Ages, the Dark Ages. So if you're going to say that, you might want to look up an example. What else, Coley?
There were new religions.
Oh yeah, this is another huge one. Those new religious orders were not monastics. They were called mendicant orders, or the begging orders. And what were the two big ones? Franciscans and Dominicans. Okay. Again, these are both hugely influential later on, especially nowadays. These are two of the most active orders in our church today. So much so your religion teacher almost became a Franciscan. Still wears the Franciscan cross. Deacon Justice is Franciscan. He's what they call a third order Franciscan, which means he can get married.
He can get married?
Yeah, he is married. He's got like 5 kids.
Oh, so he's a permanent deacon.
If I had to highlight the ones that are probably the most important, especially for modern times, it would be these first 3. Those are probably the ones that are most important for modern times. All right, what about the negatives here? Yeah.
4 years of horrible popes, or 5?
There was 80 years of bad popes.
Like 5 generations.
Yeah, 80 years of bad popes. That was called the... that was called the pornocracy. That was also a bad time. That was, so the pornocracy, the Avignon papacy, which led into the Great Western Schism when we had 3 popes at a time. Okay, all of this could be summed up under the word corruption. Corruption.
Paying for salvation.
Yeah, some of those, abuses / misinterpretations of beliefs, like purgatory and indulgences. That's more towards the end. We'll get into that big time next unit. Let's see, what else? What else? What other negatives were there? Tell me about their spirituality. Isabel.
Like, they thought that if they did good, that they would be more than they did, and that they didn't want to do that, and just keep it to themselves. So that was like their motivation.
Yeah, their spirituality was pretty much entirely motivated by reward and fear. They were terrified of going to hell. Not the worst thing in the world, but it was very much based on reward and fear, not so much, you know, building the kingdom of God in this world, but more like, am I going to get to heaven in the next? Okay, which is not terrible, but it's just not ideal. Yeah, Coley.
God was following attached.
Yes, it was a very feudal, this sort of feudal, not feudal, F-U-T-I-L-E. Feudal meaning under feudalism, idea of God, as if the feudal king, you know, if you were a peasant, your king lived far away, you never saw him, you know, you heard about him, and he was this great guy who you had respect for, and you worked all the time for him, but you never saw him, really. And that's kind of how their God was. He wasn't like a friend, you know, as we would think about today a lot of times, as like Jesus is a friend. But,